I do want to take 1 second. This shirt used to like barely fit me, and I'm down like 65 pounds now. I'm almost down 65 pounds. Oh man, I'm not going to insult past me. I'm just going to be proud of current me. So the results from the Pierre Poilievre Battle River-Crowfoot by-election are in, and did Pierre Poilievre win? Drum roll, please. Obviously. What? Although the election isn't over until every vote is counted, and I'm still confident that I can amass a surprise win because it was a write-in ballot, so you could put literally any name in there. Come on, guys, I'm a little ashamed one of you didn't do that. Pierre came in with about 80% of the vote, slightly underperforming the prior and next candidate of Damien Carrick, confirming to me that I will still have a livelihood by putting his face in thumbnails of my videos, thank the Lord. Despite my joy that I'll be able to feed my kids, there is some negative sentiments in liberal spaces. Obviously, to the few people out there who thought that Bonnie Critchley was going to have a huge surprise upset victory and sweep the region, she didn't. However, say what you want about her, say she's a fake conservative, say she, secretly glows in the dark, or if you are that one guy in my community, you can just keep making comments about her chest size until I have to permaban. She did run an incredible campaign. I don't think she is a CBC plant, but what I will say is that learning about history makes me really appreciate the kind of leadership skills Bonnie has. In World War II, after the French found the job of running a country too difficult and capitulated to the Germans, everyone was looking around for who could possibly be the leader or representative of a free France. And you might not know this, but that title actually went to Charles de Gaulle because he was the president of France. Oh, I'm sorry. He was actually just some random general that went on the radio a bunch? Oh. Okay. My point is that identifying when people are looking around for a leader and then being able to immediately get your name out there to become the spearhead of a movement is absolutely a skill. This race had the most amount of candidates in Canadian history, having more than 200. So being able to get known as the independent candidate to vote for in a race with 200 other people and end up getting second place in the race, getting more than every other person below her combined is genuinely incredible and good for her. I will still continue to go on forever about how the West needs more independent candidates like the Bloc Québécois, not independence candidates, just candidates who will only push for the interests of the West and not cuck out like the Conservatives do to Ontario and Quebec. So I'll continue to support her in any way I can, including one day, maybe doing an interview. We'll get there one day, hopefully, I promise. To make sure that by the time I'm in the grave, there is at least one pro-West party in this country that fights for the interests of the Canadian West, regardless of left versus right. But to any liberals who are sad that the most conservative, backwater, redneck place in the entire country, known for having old, stubborn people, didn't magically change their opinions in 3 months, I'm here to tell you that I don't actually think Pierre Poilievre did that well. Conservatives can talk all they want how this was an amazing, best case scenario result, but it wasn't. People saying that the results are normal for a by-election are completely missing that this isn't a normal by-election. This wasn't a by-election, this was a base referendum. And people in Canada like directly voting for the Prime Minister / party leader. It's cool to see the person who could potentially lead the countries have their name on a ballot. Federal party leaders always do better on average than their candidates in their ridings. People just kind of like voting for that because it's cute. And so considering that this is literally Tory land and the only place in Canada more blue than Marine land, in all honesty, Pierre Poilievre should have gotten more than Damien Carrick did, even considering that this is a by-election. There's a place to go in Ontario. Watching Pierre Poilievre go from 89 to 87 to 85 to 78 and then stabilizing at just shy of the sub 80 mark isn't ideal. I mean, it was for me when I was live streaming it.
It don't go down.
Robert, it goes down.
It goes down?
No,
It do go down.
Oh!
So taking into consideration that few points here or there that come from voting for the leader of a party, Pierre saw a decent, noticeable chunk get taken away from him in this election. Even giving him just a few percentage points from this, this does in fact mean that even the heart of conservative land is starting to experience some of the trends we're seeing right now nationally with the Liberals demolishing the Tories. Where the Conservatives were within 3 points of beating the Liberals, now, on average, they're down by 5. But mainly not from everyone suddenly realizing they are in love with the God King Emperor himself. It's mainly just from Conservatives tanking in the polls. Nanos sees the Liberals ahead by 13 points, and Leger, the best pollster in the country, saw LPC up by 10 just a few weeks ago when Nanos was also still at plus 11, which is what I'm trying to get at. Polls are one thing. Even conservative polls where you pitch potential candidates against each other are another thing. But having an election where you can get 2 to 3% of people in Battle River-Crowfoot to hold their nose and vote Liberal in only a few months is another thing entirely. My bet is that for every percentage point Pierre loses in support in an election like this, or in the general, his percentages for if he should stay on as party leader goes down by 2 to 3% the same amount. And to make this extremely clear, I don't think this was particularly bad for Pierre, obviously. We aren't going to be doing copium videos, literally ever. I don't care enough about partisan politics to make videos that are dishonest to what I truly feel. I just want to get out there clear that there are underlying problems that are not showing their head right now that the Conservatives still need to try to address before going right back to the usual. And judging by Pierre Poilievre's recent advertisements, I'm guessing that he will go right back to the usual. What will happen is he will continue to rail on the electric vehicle mandate until the Prime Minister becomes unpopular. Donald Trump will win another term in the White House, and then Canada will come together as a country to all yell, "Get him!" at Pierre Poilievre, all while Doug Ford sneaks in the background to win the nomination for the NDP in the upset of the century. Cinema. He's obviously going to stay on as leader and try to get them through to the next election, but honest to God, this is where the strategy by the Liberals actually starts becoming important. Nothing beats good governance. I want that tattooed on my apple. Outcome 1. If Mark Carney takes Canada and is successful in pushing the country forward and out of its economic hell it currently exists in, then things could work out. The Liberals could coast to another term, and Pierre would be denied. But if he doesn't, if broadly Canadians' lives don't improve, no infrastructure projects get built, no nation-building projects break ground, if everyone looks around and just sees that their lives aren't getting better, then eventually something will have to give. And two groups of people will react in two different ways. Old people will go to what they know for safety and vote for progressive conservatives, and young people with no nostalgia for better times will revolt and become even more populist. I think that the broader electorate most likely wants him to moderate and become a progressive conservative, but I think that the next wave of politicians like Zoran Mamdani could emerge in Canada, in which case the populist working class rhetoric he was building on in the prior election would come in handy if he actually followed through with that. Most anti-establishment parties in Europe have cracked the code that economically progressive and socially conservative go together like the classic European snack of taking one thing you like and then another thing you kind of like, combining them into a mess and then defending it on social media like it's the best thing ever.
Bro, what do you mean you haven't tried Sprunkenglorgen? What, are you insane? Oh, you have tried it? You must not be eating it right, because it's
taking into consideration that every loss of a point in a general is a loss of 3 in an inter-party poll. Pierre cannot make any more mistakes, and he needs to choose a strategy moving forward wisely. Populism or boomer conservatism. The closest thing to a challenger to Pierre right now would be Doug Ford, and honestly, I still remain skeptical that he could win, but if he was to make a play, I think it has to be in the next election, and definitely not any later. And if Pierre really is going to be able to hug the center in an attempt to win over squishy conservatives, the clock is ticking, and he has a lot of distance to try to make up now. But I do, honest to God, think that Pierre Poilievre could become the most racist, homophobic, anti-trans politician in North America. But if he just went on stage and talked about how we need to make the billionaires and corporations pay their fair share, we might be looking at the conservatives picking up at minimum 105% of the young voter share. Minimum. But really, I have no idea what I'm talking about, or do I have any idea about what the future will bring, honestly. Maybe the real battle, River-Crowfoot, was the friends we made along the way. By the way, for the love of God, join the Discord link down below. I'm serious.